So today's lesson is going to focus on the idea of how to go about creating character. And in your final progress test that you'll write, or your exam that you'll write for Foundation 2, the Paper 2, Section B, will test your knowledge on creating character in some way. Whether it's in a descriptive essay, because you can describe what a character looks like, for example, a superhero, and their attributes, their traits, or in a narrative essay, which is like a story. So you have to be able to create characters. This is a skill that you need to work on. And if you want to follow today's extracts, if you want to follow today's lesson, you can just look at the extracts in your student book on pages 148 to 149. That's your stage 9 student book. Okay. And I'm talking about the creation of character, so that you get a better understanding of how writers go about doing that through the words that they use and the ideas that they present to the reader. That is how they create character, even if it's in very subtle ways that may not seem obvious at first. All right, so let's have a look at how we go about creating a character. In your book, it says, when writing a story, it is important not only to introduce a character effectively, but also to sustain and develop the character convincingly throughout the narrative. So when there's a story, you have to introduce a character in a certain way, and it has to sound convincing to the reader, or else they won't be interested in what happens to your character. Read the extract on page 148, which I've attached down here. So read it in the student book. Focus on the character's appearance, actions, and speech. And forgive me, I have a cold, so sorry if I sound a bit nasal, and I might have to have a coughing fit at some point. So focus on the character's appearance, their actions, and their speech. So let's read through this extract together. And it's a short extract, it's not too long. Mrs. Del Toro, a thin, fierce-looking woman, wearing an expensive new purple waterproof, bearing a blue Save the Whale sticker, jumped up. If you won't speak to the captain, I will, she told her husband. The captain was eating alone in the wheelhouse, slopping pasta sauce onto a torn navigational chart. When Mrs. Del Toro marched in, he continued his meal, pausing only to wipe his hands on his oily jeans or grimy t-shirt. We've been at sea for 3 days and haven't seen a single whale, she complained. We want our money back. Listen, lady, the captain said, between mouthfuls. The whale is a secretive creature. What do you expect me to do? Send out a search party? Okay, so it's quite an amusing extract, that's it. So, what did we have to do? We had to focus on the character's appearance, their actions, and their speech. That is what they say. And by doing this, we get a better sense of the kind of character that they are. Now, usually whenever you're confronted with an extract or a comprehension, you must read through it twice. So I'm sorry to do this to you, but we need to read it again so that you can pay more attention to detail. You've had an overall idea of what's going on, but now pay attention to detail. Mrs. Del Toro, a thin, fierce-looking woman, wearing an expensive new purple waterproof, bearing a blue Save the Whale sticker, jumped up. If you won't speak to the captain, I will, she told her husband. The captain was eating alone in the wheelhouse, slapping pasta sauce onto a torn navigational chart. When Mrs. Del Toro marched in, he continued his meal, pausing only to wipe his hands on his oily jeans or grimy t-shirt. We've been at sea for 3 days and haven't seen a single whale, she complained. We want our money back. Listen, lady, the captain said between mouthfuls. The whale is a secretive creature. What do you expect me to do? Send out a search party? Okay. So we can already tell things about the characters based on the way they are described, based on their appearance, just based on their mannerisms, the way they do things, based on what they say, right? So this next part is taken from the teacher's resources. It's a worksheet which has an example of the word or the phrase taken from this extract, and then it wants you to look at how this particular quote, these particular words, reveals character. How they reveal character, okay? So if we focus on Mrs. Del Toro, just that the first image that comes into your head of Mrs. Del Toro, what do you think of, or what can you assume about her? Or here's another question. What's significant about her name even? Is there something significant there? Can you see it? What do you think? And morning to those who have just joined us. Please type your answers in the chat box. Mrs. Del Toro. What is significant about her name? Okay, so perhaps she could be Mexican. There's something Spanish or Mexican going on. Good. Yes, she's very strict and fancy. Good. Okay, so now we're going to get onto her looks, her appearance. But I just want to focus on her name. Have any of you heard of El Toro before? El Toro. Does it ring a bell? I'm testing your general knowledge here. What is an El Toro? Does anybody know? Okay, just because we're limited for time, I'm so sorry. I'm going to give you the answer. Spanish, okay, Spanish, yes, it's Spanish, definitely. It's Espanol. It sounds like Diablo for some reason. Okay, interesting. Yes, Diablo, which means devil. Okay, it might sound like that, but actually, if you look at El Toro, it refers to the Spanish word for a bull. Okay, and so already her name suggests something about her potential character, right? Just her name alone. She might be quite stubborn, hard-headed, strong character. Okay, so nice suggestions. Mrs. Del Toro, a thin, fierce-looking woman. Okay, and this is where your suggestion of her being very strict. Yes, she's thin and fierce-looking. She's a fierce-looking woman wearing an expensive, new, purple waterproof. So what does that suggest about her? She's wealthy. Good. This word, expensive, suggests she's wealthy. She's well off. Good. And this waterproof jacket she's wearing bears a blue Save the Whale sticker. So what else can we say about her? Okay, so she's wealthy, she's rich. Good. Yes. Now what about this idea of Save the Whale? What does that say about her? Okay, I'm just going to give a possible suggestion. Sorry. Okay, good. Yeah, she cares about animals. Yes. So she cares about animals, specifically here whales. Okay, so that's, we know something else about her. Now she jumped up. Okay, and when you jump up and you say something, it could suggest some sort of something that is animated, something that is frustration, maybe. Yeah, some sort of anxiety or something that she's unhappy about. So she jumped up, and what does she say? If you won't speak to the captain, I will, she told her husband. So she's already accusing her husband of something. She's accusing him of being cowardly, essentially, because he doesn't want to speak to the captain, so she's going to have to do it. She's going to have to take charge. And I'm sure this poor husband has experienced this kind of behavior a few times in the past. Okay, that is what it's suggested. So we could even suggest she's possibly a bit bossy. She's obviously tried her hardest to get him to go and speak to the captain. And now she's fed up. She's going to go do it. So perhaps she's even impatient. Some sort of impatient. Maybe her husband was simply waiting for the right time. He knows the captain's on his lunch break, doesn't want to disturb him. You know, so there's a few things we can read into this. And they're just suggestions. But already we have quite a good idea of her character. The captain was eating alone in the wheelhouse. You steer the boat. Now here's an interesting verb. Slopping pasta sauce, slopping. What does the verb slopping suggest about the way that this captain is eating? He is messy, yes, absolutely. He's messy, right? He's messy. And what else can we suggest by the fact that, you know, he's eating in a sloppy, what else can we infer, can we guess about this slopping action that he's carrying out? He's messy and therefore he is, okay, keep that in mind. He's messy and therefore he is, okay, think about that. I'll come back to it. Slopping pasta sauce onto a torn navigational chart. He's got a navigational chart in front of him, as most captains would have to see where they're going. He's eating his pasta. The sauce is slopping over it. He's eating very messily. And it's a navigational chart. He doesn't care that he's messing on it, but he also doesn't care that it's torn. It's torn. It hasn't been taken care of. It's not in good condition. Both of these suggest, and what I was trying to get you to think of, both of these suggest that he is careless. He's careless. He's relaxed or lazy. Yes, he's too relaxed. Too relaxed, or we could say laid back, I suppose. Too relaxed, lazy. Yes, he's just more interested in eating his pasta than taking care of the navigational chart, a very important feature on a boat when you're a captain. Okay, so he's busy doing this, and then what happens? Oh, here's another nice suggestion. He unconsciously does things. Yes, he's just doing it unconsciously, subconsciously, thoughtless, a bit thoughtless. Okay, good. Very nice. Okay, so when Mrs. Del Toro marched in, she doesn't just walk in, knock politely. She marches in, gets quite a strong action. Here we have this idea of the bull, okay, moving into something, charging at something. Excuse me. He continued his meal. He doesn't even stop. He just continues eating, right? Which is strange. Usually, when somebody comes to speak to you, you're the captain of the ship. You probably put everything down and pay attention to your customer, your client, your passenger, okay? But he does pause, pausing only to wipe his hands on his oily jeans or grimy t-shirt. Disgusting, okay? So he pauses only to wipe his hands on his oily jeans. They're not nice, clean, iron jeans. And his t-shirt is grimy. This reinforces the fact that he's careless, doesn't it? He doesn't really care for his appearance either. So this does not bode well, because if the captain doesn't quite care about his navigational chart, nor does he really care about his appearance, and he's the captain of the boat, what does it suggest about his attitude to customers or about the way that he sails the boat? These things come into question, all right? So he's a questionable character. So what does Mrs. Del Toro say? She says, she doesn't even say hello, captain. She doesn't acknowledge him in any way. She just says, we've been at sea for 3 days and haven't seen a single whale. She says this in a complaining tone. She complains. Perhaps she's used to doing this. We want our money back. Okay, so she's quite direct in what she wants. She doesn't hold back. She's very confident. And then the captain replies. He says, listen, lady, the captain said. Okay, so what does this say about him? Listen, lady, the captain said. Between mouthfuls. Okay, what does it say about him? Okay, so he's eating as he speaks. Yes, he's eating whilst he's speaking, which suggests what about him? What does that suggest about him? Good, he doesn't care who you are, okay? So he doesn't care. He's eating as he speaks, which means he is very I'm looking for a specific word. He is very disrespectful. Good, yes, he's disrespectful. And unpleasant, you're right. Mannerless, yes, all of those. He's got no manners. He's disrespectful. In fact, he is plain old rude, isn't he? He's rude. Listen, lady, he doesn't even know her name. She's a passenger who's been on board for 3 days. He doesn't even say ma'am out of respect or politeness or convention. Listen, lady, the captain said between mouthfuls. So yes, he's unpleasant and disrespectful and mannerless. The whale is a secretive creature. All right, the whale is a secretive creature. Okay. What do you expect me to do? Here's a rhetorical question. And then he answers his own question. And it's kind of very sarcastic, isn't it? Send out a search party. Okay. This is not the attitude you should be taking with your paying passengers who probably keep you in your job and let you earn a living. So we know that he is disrespectful, etc. What other impression do you get about the captain? And what I'm trying to get to is, do you think this has happened before with other passengers? And sorry, I'm just going to take a drink of water. Yes, good. Yes, this has obviously happened with other passengers. Yes. And how can we tell that he's being sort of offhanded, shall we say, offhanded or rude to other passengers? How can we tell that this has happened before? Okay, because we always run out of time, I'm going to butt in here, sorry. We can tell that this has happened before. Oh, here we go. The way he says, what do you expect me to do? Yes, exactly. What do you expect me to do? Okay, so this means that he's probably said this in the past to other passengers, and also because he's not even surprised that here's another customer barging in complaining that she hasn't seen a whale. And so it's almost as if he's prepared. He's prepared for what to say, because he's said it probably a few times in the past to other passengers. So he therefore has absolutely no respect for the people who keep him in a job, essentially. All right, so we have been able to tell a lot of things about two characters simply from what they're wearing, the way they do things, and what they say. Right, that's very, very interesting. So it's all about appearance, actions, and speech. So you've got to do that when you create your characters in an essay at the end of your paper 2 progression test. All right. So that was the example of the chart, and they would have looked at things that we've just been looking at. Okay. So don't worry, we've looked at all of these. She's demanding, etc. Eating alone in the wheelhouse. He's not even eating with other people, this captain, by the way, which suggests that he's quite a solitary figure, doesn't it? And we looked at all the other stuff. And then the teacher's resources also provides a breakdown of these ideas, just to clarify. Although we probably answered all of these, but let's look at them just in case it's something different that they've said. So for Mrs. Del Toro, she's thin and fierce looking, which means she seems tough. And remember, when you look at an extract, this is what you're doing. You're trying to get to the essence of what is being said, the meaning. You've got to try and get to it. If she's thin and fierce looking, it seems that she's tough. Expensive new purple waterproof. She has money. She's serious about whale watching. It's something she really cares about. Save the whale stickers. She supports a cause. She cares about animals. Okay, and here's a nice suggestion in general that the personality of a character may create a particular mood in the writing. You're absolutely, you're correct, yes. The personality of your character can create a certain mood. Like the mood we just saw in that extract was one of tension, wasn't it? Tense mood, an angry mood, frustration. Okay, good, nice point. Jumped up, she's energetic and decisive. If you won't speak to the captain, I will. She's unafraid, she's assertive. Okay, she doesn't care about offending her husband in any way. She marched in, she's vigorous, she's self-confident. We want our money back. She's determined, she's demanding, she's used to getting what she wants. She's not afraid of saying what she wants. Now, what did they say about the captain or suggested comments? Eating alone in the wheelhouse is that he's solitary, which probably means the people, his crew on board the ship probably don't like him either. They don't want to have lunch with him. Okay? Nor does he want to have lunch with the passengers. It's not like he's mingling, getting to know them. No, he's solitary. Slapping pasta sauce onto a torn navigational chart. He's sloppy, he's careless, he's unprofessional. Oh. Pausing only to wipe his hands on his oily jeans or grimy t-shirt. Rude, low standards. Yes, he hasn't got very high standards. And here's a question that's just come through. In the story, you first need to establish the character. I would say it's okay to introduce a story with setting if you wanted to. There's a setting, but yes, at some point at the beginning of a story, character is important because the character is the person that will convey action. So yes, it's good if you can establish or build up character, as happened in this short extract. There's a building up of character. But yes, you'd have to do that kind of thing in a narrative essay, in a story. Okay. Listen, lady, between mouthfuls, he's rude. What do you expect me to do? He's arrogant. Well, you're the captain of the ship. I've paid for this, voyage to go see whales. I haven't seen a single one. You're taking me for a ride. So he doesn't even feel bad about that. He's so arrogant. He's not bothered about keeping customers happy. So it does not bode well for his business, in other words. But yes, we can garner all of this from just that short extract. And that's what you do when you get a comprehension. You break it down and you try to work out what's actually going on. What can we say about the characters? Now, I've also included some other short extracts from other writers to see if you can get a better feel for character and how writers go about trying to create character. Now, this is Edgar Allan Poe. He's quite a famous Gothic writer. He likes to write about dark things. What can you gather about this character who is speaking here? True, nervous, very, very dreadfully nervous. I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? The disease, this nervousness, had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing, acute yet sharp hearing, okay, brilliant hearing. I heard all things in the heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken, listen, and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object, goal, there was none. Passion, emotion, there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold, I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so by degrees, little by little, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the eye forever. This is quite a complicated extract to try to glean character from, okay? What could you say? Just give me words or phrases. What can you say about this person who's talking? Dark, good. Dark, mysterious. Yes, hard to work out what's going on here with this person. Mean, yes. Secretive, definitely. Good, lovely suggestions. Do you think this person is rational or are they mad? Are they as calm and rational as they claim to be, or are they mad? What do you think? Interesting. Could the person be both? Could they be mad and yet rational? Very good point. Yes, because you could argue both sides of this, right? Only a mad person would kill someone because they have a film over their eye. They're blind on one eye. That's essentially what it is. But at the same time, look at the thoughts that are going on here in order to kill this man. The reasoning behind killing this man, it's very rational. There's this. I don't hate him. I love him, actually. I don't really want his gold, but I just don't like that eye on me. It's very rational on some level. It's very rational. It's logical, okay? And it's calculated. Okay, so it's strange to determine whether this person is mad or not. However, because they are able to so lightly contemplate this idea of murdering this old man, I don't think that's normal. I think there is something a bit mad about it, right? So you could argue either way. So some other nice suggestions about this character. They're ominous, beautiful word. Yes, ominous. There's something sinister and evil about them. They are crazy. They are crazy to even, just say, because I'm telling you this, because I'm explaining this to you rationally and calmly, I'm not crazy. That's actually crazy in itself. Okay. The past tense probably reflects the way the person normally describes events. Yes, true nervous. Yes, he says true nervous, very, very gently nervous. I had been and am. Yes, and so we already know that this past tense, it is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain. So he's talking from the past. And it haunted him day and night. And so they have a very specific way of describing things, which possibly could reinforce how mad they are, the fact that they're just so calmly, explaining these events and the thoughts that went through their head in order to commit this murder. All right, so we've run out of time. I'm so sorry, but I am glad that you have a better idea now of how to go about creating a character, building up ideas, and keeping your reader interested. So next time you have to write a narrative essay, use all these kinds of ideas on how to build up a character. Okay, thanks so much, guys. Take care.